I decided to go with the Certified Incident Handler certification for a couple of reasons. One being the job role that I have as a security operations engineer. One of my duties is to participate in business continuity plan, tabletop exercises, as well as disaster recovery exercises. And this was an extension of those responsibilities and a deep dive into what goes into participating in them, planning for them, going over them, and making sure that what is being done is necessary and that we're not leaving out any critical business pieces from those plans. Also, it coincides with two of my other certifications, being the computer hacking forensic investigator, as well as the certified ethical hacker certifications. They mesh well together, and the incident handler certification also fits well with them and helps fill in some of the blanks and expands on some of the topics that are not explored very deeply in those two. It's actually a little surprising how much it has contributed. I knew that it would be helpful for me in the business continuity planning and the incident handling runbook preparation, as well as the disaster recovery. But it also has helped me with the day-to-day role that I have, which is being the escalation point for different types of phishing or file manipulation or social engineering, all the various different ways that people are approached and attempted to be attacked at work. I'm actually more prepared with my responses in what to do, my methodology, changed the way that I think about approaching a problem. And it made me a better protector of the company by rounding out some of the areas that I was either missing information or training, and areas that I was a little light on training or information. It's helped me developmentally as a security operations engineer in giving me a wider base of knowledge to work from. Thankfully, I have not had to use most of what is in the curriculum because of there has not been an instance where I've had to respond to a specific incident, but I have been able to use the pieces that are not incident specific, that are more about preparing, making sure that we have plans in place for the different types of incidents that might come the company's way, ways to respond to those incidents, and to make sure that everybody who is going to be involved is aware of what their role is. We are prepared for most anything that will come, which I feel is important, because instead of in the heat of the moment trying to figure out how to do things and possibly forgetting something and making a mistake, we have that plan in place, a run book, so to speak, where people, even if it's not me, can follow a specific set of instructions, and when they get to different stages or they meet a certain criteria, they know, now I need to reach out to this person, now I need to perform this step. So it's helped me in that regard, and it's made me more confident as a professional, because even though I'm not actively day-to-day responding to the incidents that are laid out in the curriculum, I'm prepared to do so when that happens, and I have a base of knowledge to pull from when that happens, as well as I'm able to go back and look at the courseware if I have questions or my notes. So I always have something to go back to and refer to when those times do come. For me, the most interesting part, and this is the same throughout any of the certifications that I've participated in, is the hands-on keyboard, figuring out what happened, how it happened, breaking things down. So the pieces that were most interesting to me were reverse engineering a piece of malware, or looking at performing a memory dump and looking at what was in there. Doing the forensic pieces has always been one of the most interesting things to me, and one of the things that drives me in my security career, because it's just something that I find interesting, that I thoroughly enjoy doing. And the ECIH was a way to further that interest and be better prepared for it. In terms of what has been the most valuable that I've taken from it, it's going to be the ability to better plan for incidents that might come along the way, to have a plan in place prior to make sure that others that are part of the response team are aware that they're part of the response team, make them aware of their role, and sort of disarm things a bit for those that are not cybersecurity professionals, that might be members of the board or just upper management, so that they are not as intimidated by the thought of having to participate or be a part of a response team, showing that while they are a part of that team, they're not being asked to do anything beyond their capabilities, that they are just playing a part in that team, and that if they work with the organizer and the security professionals that are involved, will be able to do things together, but the security professionals are not going to be able to do everything by themselves. So empowering those people, feeling more comfortable, having a place to go to and knowledge base to go to when the time is on us for responding, but also just being prepared. The biggest thing for the business and for the security professionals, even those that have not taken the class, those that I work with that I'm able to impart some of this knowledge to, we're able to be better prepared, not be flat-footed when an incident does come our way. When we had a potential incident, I was able to, until we realized that everything was okay, and it was not as much of an issue or an incident at all, actually, up until that point, we don't know that. So it's a live situation. I was able to direct those around me to help gather the information that we needed to make sure that we didn't lose any sort of volatile data, that the person in operations who was involved in this was able to give information as to what they were doing, where they were going on the internet, break down the scenario as to what led up to the events. And then also myself being able to work some on the problem, but being able to get others involved, have them be the hands on the keyboard, be the ones pulling the memory dump, pulling any kind of logging that was in place from what took place right before the potential incident. All of that was, in my opinion, a result of going through the ECIH. I believe prior to that, I would have had a general idea of what to do, but I would not have had as clear a path going forward from the moment the incident was brought to my attention until the point where we were able to determine that it was benign. I feel like the training that I got from the ECIH was instrumental in being able to respond to that in a much more streamlined fashion, and also as a repeatable process, not something that was heat of the moment. I'm going off of my gut. It's more, I'm able to, this happened this time, and if it happens again or something different happens, I'll be able to mimic what I did prior and continue to do a repeatable process that others are able to take part in as well, and make it so it's not just me that's responding, but others on my team are able to respond as well, which does nothing but lessen the time that the incident is taking place and strengthens the team overall. I have also completed the CHFI and the CEH. I'm actually currently taking the CEH Master Certification and will be testing for the first test a few days from now. In terms of how the incident handler certification differs and how it works with these other certifications, the CHFI is coming from things from a purely forensic perspective. It is a deep dive on what to do with the equipment, how to get evidence properly without damaging anything, without ruining any kind of potential evidence, and how to do things in a way that is documented and potentially able to be used in a legal setting. The ethical hacking certification is looking at exposures, looking through the lens of the attacker, but then at the same time showing the approach that a blue team or a protector would remediate or prevent the type of attacks that a hacker would perform. And it deep dives on all those different pieces. Both of those they both touch on the handling of an incident, how to respond to various types of incidents, but it's a very shallow explanation. They don't go into very much detail, and rightfully so, because that's not the focus of either of those certifications. What I have found is through the incident handler certification, I'm able to fill in the blanks that the forensic investigator and the ethical hacker certifications left when it comes to responding to an incident. Instead of just knowing how to properly get evidence and data off of a piece of equipment for investigations, and how to better protect a company and respond in time to incidents that a hacker may present to a company. I'm empowered to know how to better prepare for those sorts of things, how to create a plan for it, what the implications of those plans are, how to create a team that will be able to respond to it, and to look at things from more than just one specific incident, to look at it from a much wider perspective, so that if there is an incident that takes place, and it is a huge incident that causes major downtime, that there is a plan in place, that while it is significantly more dangerous to the company and potentially more costly to the company, it's not something that is over my head or over the heads of those on my team or on sister teams as well. So it feels like it's a perfect puzzle piece for those other two certifications. I originally took the ethical hacking certification because I wanted to learn more about how to better protect networks and servers and things like that. I then took the forensic investigator certification because it felt like the perfect partner to the ethical hacking certification, because you're learning both sides of the coin. An attacker is going to be that much better if they know what a defender is going to do in specific situations, and vice versa. It's just like in team sports, in professional football, they study tape all the time because they need to know what the other person is going to do, what their telltale signs are for how they're going to react, or what they're going to do in specific instances. It's the same thing in cybersecurity. So I put those two certifications together to have a more holistic view of the attack from top to bottom, not knowing that the incident handler was also not only available, but that it would be as easy a marriage to those other two certifications, that it's something that I can pull from and use to augment and to further the responses and the different work that I pull from those certifications. So when I'm doing things like preparing a threat intelligence feed, or scanning the network, or pulling data off of a machine that somebody thinks they might have downloaded something malicious, I'm not just limited to that. I'm able to take what I learned here and apply that in addition to everything else that I've learned. So it doesn't just stop at gathering data or looking into a scan. I'm looking at it from a different perspective and from a place that will allow me to better protect the company that I work for, and also empower those around me to look for specific things and how to respond to scenarios, so that it's not only me that's able to look into data for somebody who thinks they may have downloaded something malicious, or for doing preventative testing or social engineering. I'm able to take it a step further with the ECIH. Well, personally, I think that the incident handling certification is a cornerstone for anybody looking to get into a career in the SOC, or at least start a career there. Because with companies I've worked with in the past, the SOC is, especially depending on the size of the company, but for a large company, if you work in a SOC, you are going to be performing the same routine for every single incident that comes your way that you learn in the ECIH. So it is foundational for pretty much every single day of a SOC member's career. Being that I'm not a member of a SOC, it's not something, I'm not using every single piece that is in the curriculum, but I'm still able to leverage it. Having worked with people that are in the SOC and worked side by side with the SOC in some investigations, I know that had I been employed in a SOC, that what I learned in the ECIH would be that much more valuable to me and to my team, because it not only lays out how to respond to each and every incident that comes your way, which more often than not, you're going to have multiple incidents a day that you have to respond to, but it also walks you through the proper documentation and how to follow that incident from first being reported to you to either being remediated or found to be a false positive. So it's vital from the first report of an incident to the SOC, to the SOC signing off on it, either being remediated because it was a legitimate issue, or that after looking into what's going on and seeing everything that they were able to gather, that it was a false positive. Every single one of those instances is going to be impacted by the ECIH. It's going to make those people that much quicker in their responses. It's going to make it so the documentation is going to be more crisp, which will, in the long run, be even more valuable, because if there is a targeting of a company and specific attacks are being made on the company, having a well-documented instance of that attack previously on the company will be a map of how to handle it going forward, and could potentially lead to changes in the defenses that the company has. So taking what you learn from the ECIH and applying it to a role in the SOC, whether it's a entry-level analyst to, I would say, the SOC manager. You are going to be able to take the information that you give within this course to your reports as you go through them, as well as apply that to leading other people who are making these reports. It's going to be something that you use every single day.